So ever since I've been working with my hands as a young lad back in the early mid-late 90s, I always had a flashlight clipped onto my belt, just for convenience reasons, because you always could use a flashlight on you. My original preferred flashlight of choice would be the mini mag light, as pretty much anybody in the trades probably has had at one point in time. The astute among you might notice that this isn't actually a mini mag light. We'll get to that. But yeah, the mini mag light, I mean, for what it was and for the time that it came out, it was actually a pretty decent flashlight. I will say that the fact that you had to do this and focus the stupid thing every time you needed to turn it on was kind of an inconvenience. And I'm sure everyone has experienced with those. You get the contacts in here, they get a little goofy, and then you touch the thing and it turns into a strobe light. And one particular day I was working on a dock down by a river, and I was feeling particularly prickly that day, and it was doing that, and I was just annoyed with the whole day and the whole situation, and I took it out on the flashlight and I sidearmed the flashlight into the river, committing it to to spend the rest of its time in the abyss. Who knows, maybe a archaeologist will find it one day and be like, what is this thing? But yeah, so that same day I ended up in a Home Depot, and I saw this here, and I was going to buy another mini mag, but I saw this guy here, and this is the Coast G26. This would actually be the second one I bought. The first one I left on a forklift and was liberated from it. You know, the old finders keepers thing. And yeah, it's a good enough flashlight. It's pretty much the exact same form factor as a mini mag light. I would say the only drawback would be that it uses AA batteries, but if you use rechargeables, I mean, you're doing all right with it. This thing, if I don't accidentally put it in the holster with the light on for a few hours, I could probably get, I don't know, a week or two out of it without having to replace the rechargeable batteries in it. The little nubby rubby thing on the back, I've had flashlights in the past for when your oil gets into the rubber, that just kind of dissolves. It works fine. This particular one, as all flashlights, I've dropped it several times, and it took its last drop the other day. So, which inspired me and brought me to this video right here. This particular one I've been using. This is the Milwaukee, I should probably write this stuff down, 2161-21 red lithium USB 3.0 battery. I might have got that order wrong, but we kind of got everything everything out there at least. And yeah, I mean, you're looking form factor wise, she's a little bit of a chunkier girl. Lengthwise, they're about the same. I can't really show you because this one's broken, but as far as I could see, the three different tones of light are at least comparable to this one. As far as hands-free option goes, I mean, like I said, she's a little bit thicker, so for more content like that, you can subscribe to my OnlyFans. You ever look at yourself doing something and say that's ridiculous? And you got to remember too, you got a flashlight to the mouth and not mouth to the flashlight, and never give eye contact because that'll land you into HR. But yeah, back on track. It'll go in your mouth just fine. You just gotta bite down on it a little bit harder. And yeah, so for hands-free work, you know, it's doing its thing. And yeah, so we'll take a look at this. I also just got lucky enough to find a holster, which we'll talk about, that this thing actually goes into, which kind of is a deal maker for me being able to do this. And this guy right here, which is like their little spotlight mini thing that runs on the same batteries. I've had this a few months. I like it, and we'll talk about this briefly. And if you're doing all this crap, you got to get yourself a battery charger. So Milwaukee's taking over my life with all their stuff. But yeah, so let's flip cameras around and we'll take a closer look at all this stuff. So the flashlight here, I mean, as I said, I've been using it a few weeks, a couple weeks, whatever. So it's got a couple of dings on her, but the battery on it is the Milwaukee REDLITHIUM USB 3.0. I can assure you that this form factor of this battery is necessary, because there are no batteries on the market that are about this shape that you could buy on your own, and they have to be proprietary. And it's not an attempt by Milwaukee just to pump their customers for a little extra money. That aside. Now, the battery just basically kind of goes in like that, and you screw it in. There are, I don't know if I'd call it waterproof, but definitely water resistance. There's pretty much O-rings everywhere. Starting from the back forward, you got this here belt clip. Personally, for belt clips, they never, especially these style belt clips, they never worked for me. I clip it on my belt, and then sooner or later it breaks off. This one kind of looks like it would come off on its own without too much, which will lead me to this. We'll get to that in a second. As far as charging goes, I will give them a compliment on this. This is probably the most secure way to keep your USB port clean with this, and it's got a nice solid feel to it, so it doesn't seem like it wants to go off on its own. Usually you have like a stupid little flap that you got to pull up, and then eventually the flap falls off. This is micro USB, I believe what it is, which is the cable down here. It's the goofy one, you know, because it's 2010, and why not just pump it up to USB-C? It does, on the switch here, that's on and off. The switch has a little bit of a LED indicator on it to tell you the state of charge of the battery. Green obviously is fully charged. It goes to amber, then it goes to red, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. So it's off. And while it's on, you can see kind of down here, I'm going to hold this above so you get an idea. This is like the spotlight use for it, and when you kind of screw it in, do this action to it, well, this would be the floodlight, and then this kind of comes down to the spotlight is what I was trying to get at there. And it has 3 different levels of brightness. You push and hold the button, that'd be the medium. Oop, let's start over. High, medium, and low. For me personally, medium seems to be a good brightness. High, sometimes you get the reflection off of what, like, especially if you're dealing with a lot of like chrome cylinders, the reflection kind of blinds you. So medium seems to work out pretty good for me. Your mileage may differ there, but the one thing I do like about it is it actually saves the last setting as far as what brightness you put it on. So that'd be the lowest, and then it's back to low until you pull the battery out, and then it clears the memory, and yeah, you just have to reset it. So now getting into the holster, and the reason why I use this form factor flashlight for so long is because I really like this stupid holster that I got forever ago. I mean, it's canvas, it's nice, it sits on the side of your hip there, and it's out of the way, but it's in the way enough where I could just kind of grab it and go. This particular holster I got at Harbor Freight. There's the word that I was looking for. Yeah, I think it's around 20 bucks, and it's actually not too bad. I actually looked on Amazon, and Amazon sells these for 10 bucks, which is kind of par for course. But yeah, I mean, that's what it kind of looks like in the package there. It has this clip where you can clip it on. I find it easier just to loop your belt through it. It's got a nice little swivel there, so if you're driving and it's kind of poking you in the side, you can kind of give it that type of action to get it out of your way. As far as the way this fits in it, it actually fits in there really good. Kind of like that. Now, I mean, as you can see, I've definitely added a little bit of bulk, which I wasn't 100% sure I was going to be into, but after a day, I kind of got used to it, and it doesn't bother me anymore. One little trick thing I found as far as getting this out, which makes it a lot easier, kind of if you're also sitting on the side, so you don't have to kind of maneuver your body out of the way, just kind of put your thumb on the lens here, push it out, and then pull it out through the bottom. Kind of works pretty good for me. But yeah, holster's pretty good. I like it. Now, getting into this guy. I bought this a few months ago. I used to have the, I can't remember what it's called, the M12 Rover light with the, I'll drop a picture of it in. It got the rectangular LED thing like this, but bigger. And I love that light. A few months ago, I left it on a forklift, and some operator decided finders keepers, and kept it and didn't give it back to me. I'm not sure which one it was. It's a pretty big place, but yeah. So I bought this just to see how it would be. This particular one isn't bad. It uses the same red lithium USB 3 style batteries. Again, you got the indicator on the light, green, amber, and red. This particular one is, you got the, whatchamacallit, high beam there, medium, and low. For me, with this particular light, low seems to work pretty good for me, unless I'm trying to illuminate a big area, but for the most part, it does its job as far as that goes. This is magnetic in the back. Let me grab something that's magnetical. That's a word, by the way. All right, here you go. This is something for a future video. Just a big chunk of steel here. And yeah, kind of stick it like that. Goes 180 degrees in either direction. I find this is really nice for doing brake jobs on forklifts. You kind of stick this to the fender, flip it down like that, and you got nice light. And yeah, I kind of like this. The one drawback I can say with this is on its max light output there, it sucks these batteries down. I doubt you'd get a few hours out of one of these batteries on max, which again, I mean, max is, like I said, you don't really necessarily need that if you're working up on something close. Again, low works pretty good for me. I can usually get a couple days out of the thing, working days, if I keep it on low. But yeah. And speaking of batteries getting cooked prematurely, which leads me to this guy down here. This I will not link because the cheapest one on Amazon is about $20 more than you can get in the big box stores. So yeah, I just buy it there. No point in spending extra money. The only reason I bought it from Amazon is because I had a gift card. So yeah, so this guy right here, as far as I can tell, you just take your old 100% necessary proprietary battery here, drop it in there, and you do something to this nature, push and twist, and then you just kind of, actually I already got one right here, flip this guy down, and then you're charging, and it's red because it's dead. It also has a USB A, B, I guess, on the back here for using it as a miniature power bank, which, I mean, kind of cool, I guess, if you're, you know, you need to charge your phone throughout the day. And I'm assuming this little button is what turns that power bank output on. So yeah, well, there we go. That is my collection of my latest Milwaukee lighting options here. I do kind of, I mean, proprietary batteries aside, I do kind of like Milwaukee's red lithium USB 3.0 flashlight selection. Maybe I'll pick up a couple more in the future. I used to have a bad flashlight addiction. I've been in recovery. I think I'm falling off the wagon, but yeah, so I'll keep an eye out, and if I see one that interests me, maybe I'll pick it up, and we'll do a little show and tell on the thing. So that's the stuff. This flashlight, like I said, I've been using it a couple weeks. I kind of like it. I personally think a holster is a must for this style flashlight. Again, that's going to break off of your belt loop, and you're either going to lose it or drop it, and then you're not going to have the clip because you'll probably lose that too. And this thing clipped inside your pocket is going to be super uncomfortable, my personal opinion. This spotlight, aside from being a battery hog on high, it works pretty good. It's convenient with the magnets and all that jazz. And yeah, the charger, I just opened it, so I'm assuming it's going to be all right. I mean, it's just charging batteries. I will say, if you're getting this one, you're definitely going to want a backup battery for it. This guy, I think I said it before, week and a half, 2 weeks out of a charge on this battery, so it does pretty good. And again, I'm using it on the medium setting. But yeah, I'll link the holster, the flashlight, and the spotlight in the comments there. This, go to your box store. No need to spend an extra 20 bucks on Amazon for that. This stuff is comparably priced to what you would get in the big box stores. You could use those links, or just go to the big box store. Do whatever you're like. I ain't your boss. But yeah, so I think that's about it for flashlights. As always, any comments or concerns, leave them down in the old comment section there, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And yeah, we'll see you next time. There you go.